Welcome back. I've been baking in the sun for hours now. The chain on the trap allows me a 5-foot radius for movement, but there's nowhere to go in that 5-foot radius that has any advantage over where I'm sitting. 75 square feet of shadeless, scorched ground. I've stopped crying now. Thirst has set in. I have to conserve fluids. My foot is growing numb from loss of circulation. I pull the jaws apart with all my strength. There's a sudden, terrible tingling sensation like 1,000 needles jabbing my foot as the blood returns. I have all the contents of my fanny pack spread before me on the ground. The map and the cash inventory book, the roll of duct tape, the Swiss Army knife, a can opener, the crank-powered flashlight, the beat-up copy of my favorite book from the happy days of my life, The Wonderful Flight to the Mushroom Planet, my toothbrush, and a small tube of toothpaste, roll-on deodorant, my spare pair of panties, my vitamins, and my birth control pills. I'm focused, desperately focused on figuring a way to get my foot out of the trap. I'm dying of thirst and starving. I've managed to grab 2 of my snorkel rods that fortunately rolled out of the bushes where I carelessly tossed them. Maybe I can get my backpack if I tape the 2 snorkel rods together and fasten the flashlights to the end using the stainless steel band clamps from my snorkel rods. With the hand crank taped open like a hook, I should be able to snag the backpack strap and drag it to me. It's water I really need. My lips are cracked, my tongue is swollen, my mouth coated with a foul-tasting scum. I've read accounts of sailors adrift in lifeboats dying of thirst in tropical seas and thought it sounded like a rather romantic way to go. There's nothing romantic about this. It's pure torture. It's a slow, horrible way to die. Plus, it's making me physically revolting to myself. My mouth must smell like a rotten carrion. Why does it even matter what my breath stinks? Who cares? I'm gonna die here, sitting on the damn ground with a coyote trap biting my foot. Even in my suffering, I think how strange the patterns of my mind are. In this situation, I'm thinking of my vanity. I wouldn't want someone to find me half dead here looking or smelling bad. It reminds me of a joke about not wearing underwear with holes in them. If you die in a car crash, you don't want someone to find you with holes in your underwear. What would they think of you? Or the old belief that if you find a hanged woman, she was murdered, because no woman would kill herself by hanging. She wouldn't want to be found with an ugly, distorted face. What the fuck? Why am I thinking these useless thoughts? I need to get out of this fucking trap. I'm laughing hysterically, but tears are running down my face. Thirst is killing me, but I'm hungry too. Should I get my backpack? Why not? What else have I to do? At least it will keep my mind occupied. I haven't been able to figure out the trap. I just can't, even though I know there's some easy way to release it. I disassemble the snorkel rods, tape them together to make a 10-foot long pole, then connect the flashlight to the end. Meanwhile, the fucking flies are really bothering me, buzzing through my hair, landing on my face. No more doggies, but God has saved the flies. Oh, and the red ants. No more dad, but God has preserved the sun-scorched degenerates who killed him. Fuck you, God, I shout, flipping the bird to the heavens with both hands. I don't care if he hears me. God, if he exists, has made the world into a torture chamber, a den of iniquity. Everyone I know and love is dead. I'm constantly in agony of some sort. All the marks of beauty that made my prospects seem bright before the world fell apart are liabilities now. My long, flowing golden ringlets are snarled with burrs and dull and greasy because I can't even keep my hair clean. My useless boobs that will never nourish a baby. My long, desirable neck will make killing me easy, as Jeff told me. That's all it's good for now. I'm a crippled weakling just waiting for some starving degenerate to murder me. Painfully, just to get his jollies, that is, if I survive the animal trap. No family, no friends, no protectors, nothing. What did I ever do to you, God? I sob. I feel like I'm going crazy, losing my mind. My foot is numb again. I pull apart the jaws the fraction of an inch that I'm able. The agonizing return of blood is too much this time. I black out briefly, then suddenly awaken. Get the backpack, I scream at myself internally. I extend my makeshift hook and snag the strap of the backpack without much trouble. I slowly drag it toward me through the bush. I expect my pole to break into pieces, but by some miracle it holds. Grabbing the backpack as soon as it's within reach, I sort through the cans of food. What would be best? There are 2 cans of peaches and 1 fruit cocktail. I'd forgotten I included them with the others. Using the can opener, the can of fruit cocktail is open in moments. Oh, the thick, partially congealed juice tastes like the nectar of the gods as I pour it into my mouth. Instantaneous relief. God, I muttered, looking up. I'm sorry. I might have been a bit too hasty. Next, I'm slopping down the fruit itself. Best thing I ever tasted. Nothing else comes close. The can is empty. I eye the 2 cans of peaches lustily. No, keep them. You might need them later. I open a can of ravioli. I make quick work of that and then let out an unladylike belch. It's getting dark now, which is a dangerous time, especially in this vulnerable situation. I won't be able to escape from anyone who discovers me. Somewhat refreshed by the fruit, I lie down to get some sleep. I jerk awake. Someone is caressing my leg above the ankle. I can't see anything. It's too dark. I don't want to put my hand down there. I have no idea what it is, but am terrified to touch what I can't see. I clutch for the contents of my fanny pack, but can't feel the familiar shape of the thing I'm looking for. Then I remember. The flashlight is attached to the end of the snorkel rods. Then I remember. The flashlight is attached to the end of the snorkel rods. I struggle to free the flashlight from the band clamp and then give up. I remove the duct tape, crank the generator, and switch on the light, carelessly advertising my presence to any skulker that might be in the vicinity. I direct the beam to my ankle. My heart skips a beat when I see what the light reveals. A huge centipede. It must be a foot long. It's disappearing inside the leg of my jeans. It's probing the wound made by the teeth of the trap. Panic. This thing is hideous. Is it centipedes or millipedes that are poisonous? I seem to remember it's centipedes. How do I get the thing out without getting bitten? I ease the snorkel rod toward my pants leg and try to hook the centipede with the flashlight's hand crank. The centipede lifts its head and extends itself along the crank. I jerk the rod and the centipede flies out onto the ground. It scuttles off before I can smash it. I pull the flashlight close to me and fan its beam out across the dirt. Several enormous centipedes and spiders come into view. They're moving down the bank toward the edge of the slough. I turn the light toward the water's edge. A dozen or more of these oversized predators are positioned next to the water as if preparing to pounce. A great, hairy, ugly-looking spider lunges forward and emerges with a wiggling fish fry clamped in its fangs. There is a scuffling motion to the right. I see a large rat grab one of the centipedes in its jaw and shake it like a Rottweiler would shake a cat. The centipede goes limp and the rat lopes away with its prey scraping along the ground. I had no idea there was so much predatory activity at night. The post-cataclysm daytime world is pretty much dead. It may be that life is adapting itself to becoming nocturnal to avoid the deadly sun throbs. These horrible oversized vermin must live in deep burrows underground or they would not survive the tremendous heat. How am I going to sleep with all these hideous poisonous monstrosities scuttling around and shagging rats too? I inch over to the alder tree and lean against it. At least my back is protected, or rather it feels like it is. I am exhausted. A noise suddenly awakes me. I was not even aware I had fallen asleep in this position. I hear men's voices across the slough. I'm tempted to shout out but suppress the urge. If the men know I'm here, or if they're the owners of the trap, they will cross the river, discover me, and do something to me. Who knows what? Experience tells me something not good. There's no kindness, no human decency anymore. If they don't own the trap, chances are they won't be able to release me anyway. They'll probably just come over here and rob me, molest me, and leave me to die or maybe kill me. No, I won't chance it. The voices get louder. I hear splashing. I sit absolutely still, pressed up against the tree. The crescent moon is rising, but is still obscured behind the line of trees. I don't think they can see me now. Now they are right across the river from me. I see a black shape in the water and hear some harshly spoken words. Something about a fishnet. Then the sound of voices and splashing recedes, and I'm alone again. I huddle up against the tree and try to sleep. At least the nighttime coolness does not inflame my burning thirst. Morning. Another clear and cloudless day. How I wish for rain. Rain dripping off leaves into my open mouth, rain forming dirty puddles that my lips slurp up. The only thing I have to temper the torch of my thirst is the last can of peaches. I've held off as long as I can. Ripping off the pop top, I gulp down the viscous juice. I just wish it was wetter. The sweet nectar feels more like a solid than a liquid as it rolls over my tongue and down my throat. Not much relief. One mouthful of cold water would be better. There's a whole river of it flowing past a few feet out of my reach. I savor the peach sections. When they're gone, I'll have no more fruit and its juice left to sustain me. If I can't slip this fucking trap, I have one, or at least the most two, miserable days of life left. I don't even feel the urge to eat. The salt from the canned spaghetti or chili would just aggravate my thirst. The sun is high above the trees, blazing down on me. The sun doesn't need a sunthrob. It wants to kill me the good old-fashioned way. My mind is wandering into all sorts of strange thoughts. Delirium. I'm past caring about personal hygiene. The roll-on deodorant is in my fanny pack. I can smell the stink from my armpits, but it's not worth the effort to pull out the tube and apply it. I'll be dead soon, and then my stench will be far beyond the curative powers of a deodorant stick. I don't much care anymore about the poor circulation in my foot. If I die, there will be no circulation anywhere. I don't have the energy to do anything but loll around the base of the tree with my parched lips hanging open. I must look like an idiot, but not as much of an idiot as the blank stare of death will make me look in a day or two. I force myself to pry open the jaws of the trap again. I'm rewarded by the million pin pricks of returning circulation. In a half-demented sort of way, I reassess the form of death. Would asphyxiation really be worse than this lingering torture? At least with asphyxiation, you're out pretty quickly and dead in not many more minutes. Is short, terrifying, and excruciating really worse than long and tormenting? I don't know. Instantaneous death caused by a bullet to the temple would be preferable. Suddenly nausea strikes. The sickly sweet, half-congealed peach nectar bubbles up like lava and shoots out my mouth. Gagging, I continue to spew the only liquid in my system all over my lap and on the ground. I don't care where it lands. On the head of a giant centipede. That would be funny. But they all returned to their underground crevasses before the day broke. Would I welcome a sunthrob now to end my suffering? It doesn't matter. My bones tell me that a solar storm is not in the works. My rolling eyes take in the hideously beautiful day. The type of day I used to love walking Hummel and Beauregard in the Mary Moore off-leash park. Only now the park is a wilderness and there are no dogs. My lips are cracking with sticky serum in the cracks. My mind is producing senseless videos that I don't recall minutes later. Water, I croak, water. Jonathan Swift had it right. The human condition is an ugly, stinking cesspool. Fuck it, be dead already and good riddance. I roll my head back and forth, moaning because that's what my body thinks it should be doing. I notice something 3 times out of the corner of my eye during these head rolls before I stop and turn my bleary stare that way. A woman is standing in the bushes watching me. And that concludes chapter 3. Thanks so much for listening.